Welcome to the Daily Apple. I'm your host, Kevin White. My occasional co-host, Emma Ryan, and I will dive into all topics related to the science of longevity, along with some other subjects we just find of interest, with the hopes to provide useful information for everyone. This stems from my personal interest to optimize the human condition. It's not just live longer, but to live better. So everybody, welcome back. Are you good? Are you feeling good? Are you doing okay?
I'm good. Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry about the scheduling nightmares that we've had, but we're here.
What are we talking about today? You'd mentioned DHEA, and so I kind of went down a rabbit hole on that one from what I already kind of knew. Yeah.
You mentioned it to me, and then I don't know if my phone was listening or what, but since then, I've gotten all of these, like, Instagram influencers and ladies, you need to be doing this, and then I've talked to a couple of trainers at the gym about it, and they say, well, it's not great for guys, but it's great for women. But then if you Google it, a lot of like warnings pop up about it and about how it could cause, I don't want to say cause cancer, but that there could be links or that it could be related. So I don't know.
So it's, in this country, it's a supplement, but in other countries, it's scheduled. It's like, like testosterone or narcotics, they're scheduled and you have to have a prescription for them. So you can't get them without a prescription in Europe, and I think in Canada as well. So here, it's funny. You can just get that as a supplement.
Why is it not regulated here, but it is elsewhere?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah, but you're right. It doesn't really, you kind of understand so it's made in the adrenal cortex, which is a little organ above your kidney. And it makes that's responsible for making, a bunch of hormones as well. But so it makes DHEA, and it gets converted down the pathway to testosterone, and then which gets converted to estrogen and DHT. So with women, that conversion happens just better than it does in men. DHEA declines as we get older. Mm-hmm. So it's a good way to increase your testosterone, but you got to kind of watch that, and it'll give you acne and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, I'm not looking to get a mustache or anything. I don't even know if I wanted
women are.
If it makes you like an animal in the gym and stuff, I don't want road rage or mustaches or any of that kind of stuff. So I was just curious about it because I never really had heard of it until you mentioned it that one day.
Yeah, and it's shown a decline and with cognitive issues and stuff too. So it's really active in the brain too, which I didn't really know until I read about it. But in women, it can make a big difference. In men, not quite so much. We used to use it some with men. That doesn't ever work, and which the research shows that it really doesn't.
Yeah.
Either.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah,
I'll pass for now.
I don't know. We could look up your labs right now, see if it was low.
I think that's maybe why you mentioned it, because my brain fog is so bad. It's so bad, and I can't think of anything. And I've got the whole shebang is setting in. How old is Kim?
52.
So is she right there too? You don't have to give me her information if you don't want, but I know Michelle said she's kind of doing the same thing. You're not going to use any of this, are you?
What we talked about yet already? Yeah, I'm going to use it all.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to.
It was just such a casual start. So cash.
Welcome back, everybody, here to the Daily Apple. And I'm here with radio royalty, I guess. Heather.
I knew you'd overcook it. I knew you did. I knew you would.
Heather.
Yeah. From the Joey and Heather morning show.
Yeah. Do people know your last name?
No.
Okay.
Already editing.
That out. Jeez.
I'm just kidding. It's okay. Yeah. Since I started doing real estate, I don't care if anybody knows my last name because I don't want to sell them houses. So if you need to look me up on Facebook or whatever, you can. No, it's true. I'm pretty open about it now because my face is on signs in people's yards, and I hand my business card to anybody that'll take it. So, so I've been doing the show for about 25 years. Friends with Kevin for long time, like back in the Chili's days.
Yeah. Yeah. You were what, 19, 18 when you were rolling around or cruising around the Chili's crew with Michelle and Kim and all that jazz.
I was young. That's how I got my first radio job, was that I waited on Jake Daniels and Dick Fitzwell that did the afternoon show on the Cat. I waited on them in the cocktail area, and I told them I had just gone to American Broadcasting School, and they were like, "You did?" And I said, "Yeah." So I gave them my tape and my resume. It was like actually a cassette tape back then. I gave them my tape and my resume, and they gave it to Dan Lutz, who was the program director of the Sports Animal at the time. And he taught me how to board op. And so I did that for a while.
What's board op?
Board op is like, I'm not behind the mic. I'm just like in the control room running all of the levels and stuff. So you would do that. And then I eventually, what did I do after that? I did overnights on the jazz station, all while working at Chili's at the same time. I did early mornings on Kiss FM. I filled in on Rick and Brad on the Cat. I did the prize closet. I did it all up there. And then the jazz station turned to Wild 97.9, and I started doing the morning show with Joey. And we did that for almost 20 years, 18 or 19 years. And then we went over to Kiss, and we've been there ever since. So we have done the show for 24 years this year.
Wow. You've done the show for 24 years?
Done the show.
Yeah. But this show that you're doing right now has been
24 years. Can you believe that? I still don't feel old enough to have done that. Yeah. It was unreal.
No, that's crazy. But it's been fun, right?
Yeah.
You guys are still having fun?
Oh my gosh, we have so much fun. It's been great. And, the hours are awesome. And it was great for having kids and being free in the afternoons. But just the longevity of it has been kind of insane.
You wake up at 3 a.m? How does that work?
Oh yeah, like 2:45. And
Shut your mouth.
No, I get up at 2:45, and we have like some really hardcore show planning sessions before the show starts. No, I get there at 6:30. I put my makeup on at 8:15. I eat a container of yogurt, and then that's it. Yeah, no. We get there. I get up at 5:47. Yeah. Unless I try to go to the gym first. And so then a little earlier, but not as early as everyone thinks. So the hours are awesome. And then off at 10.
You get up at 5:47?
Yeah.
Are you joking?
No, I get up at 5:47. I leave at 6:10.
Yeah.
Get there about 6:30.
Yeah. That's funny. I would have, like when I was working really early in the morning, had to be there at 6 a.m. At the ER, and I would have it dialed in to where I could be up, brush my teeth, and out the door in like 8 minutes.
Yeah, you can do it really fast.
You got to have your clothes right next to the bed.
Got to lay them out.
You can't be looking for anything because you're going to be getting the crusties out of your eye, trying to get your butt to the car.
You got to have your breakfast ready in the fridge. And then I have a green drink every morning, but I've got it all portioned out with my little shaker bottle in the fridge. It's ready to go.
It's the prep work.
2 ice cubes in it, and I'm out the door. It's really easy. Yeah. And then for years and years, I'd go to the gym before. So I would get up at like 4:15 or something and go to the gym. But then eventually, as I got older, I was like, I get off work at 10 in the morning. Why would I do that? Like, I don't have to do that. The kids are at school. That's insane. So I don't do that as much anymore.
Yeah. 2:45.
Yeah.
You ding dong.
Intense meetings that we have. Do you ever look around though? Like, speaking of doing something for 24 years, do you ever just kind of look around and go who's letting me raise these kids? And like, how did I get here to this point? You know what I mean? Like, how old do you feel in your mind? How old do you feel?
Yeah, I don't feel 50.
No, you don't, right?
Yeah.
I'm 47 and I honestly feel 32 most days. Like I don't always feel older unless my body is starting to tell me otherwise, which is kind of what I wanted to talk about today is like, you're on Instagram, right? But are you a big scroller on Instagram? Like, are you seeing all of the fitness influencers and the wellness guys? I'm assuming you're seeing all the wellness people and everything.
Yeah, it's in the algorithms. Jeez.
Yeah, and you watch one and then that's it. 10 more come up right behind it. Yeah. So in doing this, my friends and I have been talking. We're all around the same age, all kind of at the same stage in life, which is just chaos, right? Like, you're trying to keep your head above water. I've got 2 boys. We've got 5 sports going right now. Dinner, laundry, 2 careers, marriage, vacations, their grades, doctor's appointments, orthodontists, dermatologists, like all of this stuff. But then on top of that, now that we're in our feeds, social media is telling us all the time, like, hey, that's what you're doing isn't enough. You're going to need to get 140 grams of protein a day. And are you walking 10,000 steps? And how much water did you have? Don't forget to go to sleep. Do some cardio, only zone 2 because you got to lift weights. And it's like never ending. And so you're trying to get it all done and there's not always enough time in the day. So I was hoping today to talk to you and just kind of run through this list of the most common things that you're seeing all the time. And for you to tell us like, yeah, those things are important and you really should try to do it. Or maybe to debunk some of it and say, that's not absolutely a necessity. Yeah. I tried to come up with a clever name, but I couldn't.
Yeah. Cause we're not all Brian Johnson.
Who's Brian Johnson?
The guy in Silicon Valley, gazillionaire,
Yeah.
don't die, all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like, I mean, the guys that I see are like Haley Pasternak and, celebrity trainer. He's great, but he's really he's out there doing his Aloe clothing endorsement for most of it. Yeah. I mean, I just kind of wanted to, I don't know, just to get your opinion on it, your take on things, so that I can take this back to all the ladies and you tell me, what is this, Instagram or Insta scam? You don't want them to come after you. They don't have a lot of time, so it'll be quick if they do. Okay.
I won't see it coming.
Here we go. 10,000 steps. How important is it that we get 10,000 steps? Because let me tell you, am I talking too much? It's your podcast.
No, this is good.
Okay.
This is fine.
In the mornings, there is a break that we do. We'll do a break, then we play commercials, then 2 songs play. During that commercial break and 2 songs, if I walk around the building at a brisk pace, I can get about 1,400 steps in. And I try to do that twice a morning, just so that with a workout and then a walk later in the day, I could get close to 10,000 steps. How important is it? And why is the number 10,000?
I don't know that there's any validity to 10,000. I think you shouldn't get hung up on that too much. And before we get into that, there's 4 things that you need to think about whenever it comes to overall wellness. And I think these are important. People get lost a lot in the details, but we'll get back to this. And this is something that we've kind of collaborated with another practice, and they kind of dialed it in. And it really does make sense. And it's eat, sleep, move, and connect. All those things really, really matter. So, and moving, so we're talking about moving. Eat, we're going to talk about different things as far as that includes, of course, food, looking at it like fuel, and that gets more personalized. And that includes everything you take in your mouth, like supplements or whatever. And I kind of include eating as whatever you're taking in, whether that's, peptides or hormones as well. And then sleep and connect. So anyway, 10,000 steps. I don't know. I mean, Rhonda Patrick, I don't know if she coined the phrase or anything called about exercise snacks. Have you heard about this term? And it's the whole idea of, like, if if you have a break, do some squats, do some lunges, do some moving, because, sitting's the new smoking. We do it all the time and we don't move as much as we should. 10,000 is just a random number to get you to move. And so I wouldn't get hung up and be disappointed if you just get, oh, damn, I just got 5,000 today. I'm such a loser.
8750. That's where I get hung up almost every day. Damn it. Okay. No. So it's more about like consistent movement, right? Than it is you took 10,000 consecutive steps by going 5 miles on your treadmill, right? It's more about like daily movement throughout the day.
Yes. And I mean, there's a lot of nuances about that. I mean, you talked about zone 2 and everything, and then there's HIIT. As well. High
intensity interval training.
Thank you.
Which we did for years and years, but now we're kind of being told maybe isn't great when you're in this stage of your life, like mid 40s.
Yeah. And the whole point on that is where we get into like VO2 max. And all that means is the engine running efficiently. That's the way I think of it. Like if all the pistons on your engine are running efficiently, because if all 4 or 6 cylinders are, doing their thing, it just shows that you're burning gas efficiently, or that you're utilizing oxygen on a cellular level very efficiently. And if you're a well-trained athlete, you're doing that. If you're Lance Armstrong or, all that kind of, you've got a really high VO2 max. So you want to have a robust VO2 max if you want to live long. Really. Yeah. So 2 ways to do that are zone 2, which is easy comparatively, and then your high intensity training, right?
Yeah.
So your HIIT core,
So you should do both technically?
You should incorporate both as much as you can.
Zone 2 is easy. You could do that all day.
Zone 2 is easy. And if you're busy, you can hit, 2 rounds of that in a week. I mean, that'd be great. And I mean, hop on the bike, whatever it takes, do your meetings or podcast or whatever you're going to do.
Okay. All right. Next on the list is sleep, because for years and years, myself and my friends too, I'm a really bad sleeper. Like if I got 5 hours a night or 6 hours a night, I was fine. I was fine. But then like I turned a curve and started getting 7 hours, sometimes 8 hours a night. I'm talking on a weeknight, which means going to bed for me at like 9 or 9:30, which is awful because I naturally want to stay up late, but I feel so much better when I do that. Like is the magic number between 7 and 8, and how important is sleep?
It's massively important if you want to. That's one of the highest. If your sleep is trash, then that contributes to almost everything else and increases your cortisol levels the next day. It's been shown to, increase cardiovascular events. There's some information that after, like daylight savings is coming up, when people lose an hour, that there's an uptick in cardiovascular events.
Oh, wow.
So that's interesting. So is that important? Absolutely. There's a reason that we've gone through all this evolution, and that's something that hasn't changed at all, which is crazy if you think about it. If it's something let me back up. It's important because if you take somebody, and let's say we don't have homes, we're cavemen and everything, and you have to sleep for 8 hours, you really put yourself at a disadvantage. You're prime for, being hunted or being killed or being eaten by a lion or whatever. The fact that we're allowed by Mother Nature to put ourselves in that kind of position shows you that that's pretty dang important, right?
Yeah.
If it wasn't that important, we'd evolved out of needing a full 8 hours. So is it important? Yeah. And there's been some correlation with cognitive issues, dementia, and everything with people with poor sleep habits over the years.
Okay. That makes sense. It was a lot easier to sleep back then, though, because they'd hit you over the head and then drag you into the cave by your hair. Right? That was some sound sleep, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Not all the ladies feel that. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to combine a couple of things here now, like protein. I was told that I need to have 140 grams of protein a day. And that's hard for me to do. I'm not a huge meat eater. So when it comes to lifting weights, which I know is important, especially for women, especially in our 40s and perimenopausal and all that stuff. So when it comes to lifting weights, how important of a role is protein into that equation?
As we get older, our protein requirements do go up. Your younger kids in their 20s and their DNA and everything can make a lot of protein. You have your essential amino acids, which we require, that we can't make. But, kids, they can make a lot of protein. As we get older, we can't do that as well. So our requirements to get those from external sources are very important. That being said, also sarcopenia is a big thing. And that's a fancy way of saying muscle wasting. So if Mother Nature has her way, you will naturally start to lose muscle. If you're just living day to day, you'll without paying attention to these things, your muscle would become depleted. And that's really is the currency of aging in women. Yeah. So, and muscles have a real benefit. They release myokines, BDNF, other things, the Klotho gene gets expressed and all this stuff, which is great. All those things are great for mental health. So you don't want lean muscle wasting to occur. There's a lot of reasons why, but that's huge. So getting protein is important. Now, is it, 1 gram per pound is, a great thing to go for, but on the same token, you don't want to be overnourished and you don't want to take in more than you should.
Overnourished. Yes, that was sweet. That was gentle. I see what you did there. Let me ask you then this question about protein. If you were to look at a Fairlife protein shake, which has 150 calories and 30 grams of protein, or a 6-ounce chicken breast, is one better for your body than the other? Because I'm going to pick the shake every time. Like really, I have a terrible time eating meat. So I will always choose to have like the supplemental protein. But are they the same nutritionally for your body?
I would say if you were to choose and get the same amount of protein, I would go through more non-processed sources.
I know, right? That makes sense.
But that being said, like whey protein isolate, those things are really well absorbed. And it's easier to get your protein marks that way.
Yeah.
So, I had my shake that looked like
that jar of gravy over there with that giant. If you have to use a straw that big, your shake is too thick. That's like a PVC pipe.
It had a little piece of a fourth of an avocado, which makes it kind of creamy like a frost.
Yeah. Did you get the frozen avocados?
No.
You can buy like bags like frozen fruit, but frozen avocados, which I think is, for me, it's easier than always having to mess with whether or not they're ripe. But I guess if you're making a shake, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Either way, the fourth of an avocado is not what made your glass look like that. Whatever else you put in there, it did. It seriously looks like Thanksgiving dinner in a glass. It does. But this purple straw is a nice touch.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question, I'm going to just kind of combine them. You can either run through them or just speak in a blanket type way about it. But so we see a lot on Instagram and social media constantly about creatine, collagen, greens powder, and then the new one is colostrum, which essentially is what is found in breast milk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why is that so trendy now? And do you need any of those?
Okay, collagen, sure, I take it. I don't know, I can't find much. If somebody has something great, shoot it to me on but I'd love to see it. But I don't know of anything on collagen that that shake had collagen.
I was going to ask if it did, or if it was if you took the pills, or if it was from the bucket.
So yeah, I do have that. And then colostrum is that early part of breast milk. So it'd be full of great stuff for the GI microbiome and all that kind of thing. I don't want to even get into
What brought that into existence in a powdered wellness form? I'm just curious.
I should know.
So collagen can smell funny. Have you ever had I use the lemon one because I don't want to ever smell it or taste it, but some of them do smell kind of.
You're going to ask me why?
Meaty. I mean, I'm not going to ask you why because I don't really want to know. But I'm just curious, what sort of a smell would colostrum have? Because I have no experience with that. I mean, breast milk itself, I know is kind of sweet, but does it have would it have a weird consistency or anything?
You've never had it before?
I mean, I've had it.
Just gone up to a
from
cow?
The well, but
gone up to a cow right after it.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, I have tasted human breast milk before, but I didn't know how, I don't know. So is it cow colostrum that they're using?
Yeah, bovine. Most, yeah. So I've tasted, it tastes fine.
Yeah. It doesn't make it milky.
No, I mean, it's not bad. I don't know how to describe it.
No, keep going.
Yeah.
Because you would think that it would make whatever you put it in milky.
Yeah. I mean, it is milk. The one I've tasted has been more of a powder type thing. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, it's great for healing the gut. A lot of people, they, drink too much. They have what's called intestinal permeability, which is also called leaky gut, which can contribute to general inflammation and soreness or a host of other issues. Right. So, and that gets in a whole other discussion, but that's part of treating for a healthy GI microbiome. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's not going to hurt you. Yeah.
What about greens powder? I drink one every morning. Every morning I drink a scoop of Bloom greens powder.
AG1, Athletic Greens?
Yeah, it's not that brand, but it's similar to that. I've tried that one. And then Vital Proteins collagen, 2 scoops of BCAAs. That's a pre-workout because I don't drink coffee or anything. So getting up so early, I feel like it kind of wakes me up on my way to work. Yeah. But I mean, do greens powders even do anything if you already get enough vegetables?
So yeah, Athletic Greens, the way I think about it, and I have this in the fridge too. I pop in a bag when I travel and stuff, but I forget. But I think of it as a really great vitamin. I don't think of it as a replacement for a good diet or anything, but it's hard to hit all those. Pay attention to if you're traveling, you're kind of at a loss. So I think it's an easy thing to do and drink first thing in the morning to have hit your gut in the morning. And
is it better to drink them on an empty stomach?
I don't know if this is the right answer or not, but I think the first thing in the morning for it to hit your stomach, I think is a good thing.
Feels like it'd be more absorbable that way. Okay. And then the last one is creatine. You think that's important?
Yeah, absolutely. I do. I'm a huge fan of that. Creatine. I have, workout, I put the Element and I put creatine in there and shake it up and have it when I work out, usually just because I have it afterwards, but usually I just have it whenever I'm working out because it's one less thing to do and kind of fit in.
Is it giving you the advantage at the gym?
Oh, yeah. It's giving me the advantage.
Okay. And then my last question concerning all of those things is there a way, if you're going to purchase them, is the more expensive necessarily the better, but then you don't want to order the cheapest stuff off of Amazon? Yeah. What is the best way to try to find a balance of knowing that you're getting a good product without, AG1 is very expensive, but, known to be the best. So.
Right. Yeah, AG1, I've tasted some other greens and it just, in my opinion, just tastes better too.
I don't know. The Bloom powder one is good. You can get it at Target.
Bloom powder. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the supplement industry is like the Wild West, right?
Yeah.
You don't really know what you're getting. So, I mean, some good brands that I like are, like Designs for Health, Thorne, Metagenics. I mean, I'll, get those generally. I'll do I mean, I give our patients a code so they get them cheaper on Metagenics on our site.
Nice. You only had to listen to all 20 minutes of this to get that, guys. Okay, cool. And then what was I going to say about it?
Yeah.
So whenever you are looking at vitamins and supplements and stuff like that, would you say like, does third-party testing mean anything? Because they say that sometimes. And
yeah, they do. And yeah, it does mean something. But you're right. They're not regulated. And so, you and I could, get Brooks in the kitchen and just whip up some juice and call it whatever we wanted and put it in pill and sell it. And it's
like the two of you make it. And then I walk in and you're like, oh, taste this. And then you're like third-party tested.
It'd be like, Breaking Bad. So does it matter? Yes. And I'd like on our website, we have the Metagenics, and then we have another one, and these are all pharmaceutical grade supplements. So you just got to be careful, like on Amazon and stuff, and make sure so some brands that are good that I trust are those, and I'm forgetting like 4 or 5 of them, like Human, there's that, and then I forgot what else.
There's probably a million good ones.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at something and you can get it for $250, $12.50, or $22.50, don't always maybe go with the cheapest.
Go with the cheapest.
Go to the middle. Just treat yourself to the good stuff. And then my last question would be like water, right? Like, what do you think about? And I'm springing this on you because I'm just thinking of it now. I have some friends that recently started. They got a special like water hydrogen water. Yes, it's to add hydrogen to your water. But isn't water already hydrogen? And how does that even work? Have you heard about this? This is the new thing.
Yeah, I know.
Erewhon sells a bottle. Are you familiar with Erewhon?
Yeah.
They sell a bottle of hydrogenated water that's like $35.
I've seen all this. I mean, I was at the big conference. You see all these vendors and stuff. And I saw that. And I don't know of any of the research on it or anything. So I'm like, I don't know. Of course, I'll probably change my tune at some point.
But if you're drinking enough regular water, you should be fine with that. Yeah?
Yeah, majority we're all like dehydrated. And then as we get older, our hydration needs are even more. So yeah, absolutely.
Right. Great. Whenever you have to get up and pee more often at night, that's awesome.
Well, in a perfect world, like 2 or 3 hours before bed, I try not to drink almost, much at all. But that's kind of hard because then I get thirsty.
Yeah. I can't help it. It's like, yeah.
But if you can maintain your hydration throughout the day and then 3 hours before bed or 2 or 3 hours before bed, don't eat anything else. Stop eating.
Yeah.
And if you got to take a sip here and there, fine. But just in general, don't drink. You won't get up and pee in the night. I just makes everything much better. Which brings me to, have we talked about 8 sleep or any of that stuff at night? Do you sleep hot at night?
I mean, hotter now than I have in the last couple of years, but not typically, no.
Yeah. So, the reason I'm bringing this up is because my internet, it's not connecting to my phone, so it's not working. So I'm sleeping hot these past few nights, which stinks. But it's that 8 sleep, it cools your bed and everything. You put it on the mattress.
I haven't heard of it or seen it or anything. Is it like a mattress pad?
Yeah, you can buy the whole mattress and stuff, but so it's a cover that you buy the pod. So it covers your bed and you can't really, and it cools your bed. So it senses how hot you are and it cools you down. Let me back up. Your sleep stages throughout the night, the first half of the night, and this is gross simplification, but the first half of the night, you have your deep sleep. And that's what's really important for your brain to clean itself out with the lymphatic system and all that, right? So that's what's important the first half of the night. The second half of the night is your REM sleep, your dream sleep and all that stuff. And of course, there's a little bit of overlap there, but that's generally what happens, right? So in order to get good deep sleep, you kind of go dormant. Your temperature goes a little bit lower to really dig into that. And then the second half of the night, you kind of warm up a little bit. That's the natural progression, right?
Yeah.
But we're on these, we just get hot, and then but it's a way to really tap into optimizing that deep sleep as much as possible. So
it sounds cold. Do you get cold?
Well, you can set it to be really cold if you want. So sometimes it can get too cold, but you got to set it for yourself. And there's an autopilot function where it'll sense, your heat and kind of get the best program for you. So on top of that, it measures your heart rate variability and it measures how many times you're turning throughout the night. It measures all this other, respirations and all this other kind of jazz, which is interesting. So It makes it where you don't have to have, your wearables or anything like that. But the cool thing is it treats you. So it gets your temperature right.
Awesome.
So mine hasn't been working the past few days. So
poor Kevin having to sleep like the average person.
It's so hot, man. But anyway, so I don't know what made me think of that.
Okay, well, you don't have to use this in the podcast, but I do have a question.
Yeah.
We talked about this on this show. I have a dream. When I dream, I had a dream the other day that I was at the gym and I was talking to my trainer and I was telling him, my trainer, about it. And I was like, and it was at the gym. And he was like this gym? And I was like, no, it's like my dream gym. And he's like the gym of your dreams? And I was like, no, it's just like a shitty gym, but it's the gym I always dream about if I dream about the gym. And he's like, what? And it's true. And we were talking about it. I have a dream gym and I have a dream house and I have a dream restaurant where I'm in the weeds. I have a dream high school where I'm going to a math class and I don't know any of the answers to. And it's always the same high school. It's got this very specific stairwell, but it's not a high school I've ever been to, nor a gym, nor a restaurant I've ever worked at.
And none of these places are what you consider dream.
They're not
places.
Like dream, like this is what I would dream up.
It's more of just this crappy place that you end up.
But it's always the same one that appears in my dreams every time. And so Eric, my trainer, was like, I don't have that at all. Like I might dream of that I'm at the gym, but it would either be this gym or, it would never be the same thing. So we called another guy over and we asked him and he was like, oh yeah, I have a dream airport. He's like, and no matter where I'm flying in my dream, it's always the same airport, but it's not an airport I've ever been to. So we started asking people and we talked about it on the show and we took calls. And half of the people have like regular reappearing places in their dreams that aren't places that ever is anywhere they've ever been. And the other half always dream of new places. What is yours? Do you know?
New places.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So like if you had a dream that took place in your house, it wouldn't be your actual house, but it would be a house that you'd never been in, but it wouldn't be a house that you've dreamt about before it being your house.
Right.
That's weird. I wonder what makes that happen.
It's like that Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
Inception?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, your construct of your... Yeah, I don't have the same one. Mine just kind of a little bit different all the time.
A neuroscientist wrote us on our text line in the studio and said it's kind of like, and there was a name for it, I don't remember what she called it, but the apple test, where if you ask somebody to close their eyes and picture an apple and then describe it to you, everybody will picture it completely different. Some people see like a cartoon apple or, like my apple has a leaf on it for whatever reason. It's very specific. Some people would, think of yellow apples or green apples or red apples. But it's just so weird how your brain makes up its own version. And why?
And there's no variety.
No.
Man, we got to get you a new gym, new dream gym.
Really? I know. That wasn't a bad gym, just different.
What was your high school like?
I don't know. I didn't go very often. So I went to a high school in Alaska that was a brand new high school. And then I moved to Enid and finished there. And it was an old high school. So maybe it's like a combination of both. I don't know.
In Alaska?
I grew up in Alaska.
Did I know this?
I don't know. I moved there when I was 6 and I moved back when I was 17.
Oh, wow.
My dad worked for Arco. Yeah. So anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
So back to the podcast. Thank you for clarifying some of those. And, honestly, if we wanted to do a part 2, I also would like to know about what you think about saunas and cold plunges and intermittent fasting and progressive overload and a lot. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it's nice to get some clarity from all of these things that are always just floating around.
Yeah. Intermittent fast. Let's talk about that for a minute.
You want to? Sure.
I think that intermittent fasting is a great way for people to calorically restrict in an easy fashion.
Yeah.
Period.
As long as you're not just going crazy when you're in your feeding window, right? Do you do that?
I have before. There was a whole time frame where I did a lot of fasting back in, 18, 19, 20. I mean, I lost a lot of weight too. When I look back at pictures, I'm thinking, oh man, I felt great and I felt very alert. If you do that, you just realize once you do that, you realize we're not really that tied to food. It's not that big a deal. It's just food. Dang it. I mean, you don't have to be eating all the time. It's not like if you miss breakfast, you're going to, wilt up and die.
Right. But because it becomes such a habit in your head and in your lifestyle, you think it has to have its place.
Gotta have lunch, haven't had, so it helps you kind of reframe the way you look at food, So I would have seltzer, Topo Chicos, that kind of thing throughout the day, and it would fill me up, or black coffee in the morning, or both actually. And then as the day progressed, and then I'd go home, and I'd be working at the hospital, and then I'd go home and hadn't realized it's 5 o'clock and I haven't eaten at all, and felt fine.
Really?
Yeah. And then it'd be like a 2 to 3 to 4 hour feeding window maybe, and then sometimes I would ravage it,
But then that would be it. So none of the swamp water with the purple straw?
not in the morning.
No, I'm sorry, but Topo Chico is not going to get the trick. That's not going to do it for me. But I love it, and I've done it before too. Like, I don't really like to eat in the evenings.
Yeah.
But if I don't eat past a certain point, you kind of start to get lightheaded. Do you think that the benefits that they claim that happen when you are fasted, that allows other parts of your body, instead of always being working on digestion, that it increases health in other areas? Do you think that's true?
Yeah. I mean, once you go into autophagy, which I don't think fasting is great all the time. The biggest thing that you can caloric restrict and still hit your protein marks, right? Because the calories per protein, protein in small amounts is more satiating than a bag of chips.
Sure.
Like, we can down a bag of chips. I can, so the whole idea is autophagy, and it has to do with this mTOR, signaling molecule in the cell and everything. But once you go into autophagy, your body goes into an unfed state. So all of a sudden, they start to take out the trash. So, if a cell is not doing its job, or kind of, they're senescent cells or whatever, it's kind of self-eating is autophagy. So it allows you to go into a repair time. Mm-hmm. So take out the trash time. It's not time to feast. So we're always feasting, right? So, from sun up to sundown, we like to eat. Yeah. He doesn't like to eat. I like to eat.
I like to eat too. I need to do less of it, but I try to, but it doesn't seem to matter.
But the time restricted window can be helpful depending on the person. If it stresses them out, it's no good. If it gives them more stress, then it's not beneficial. If you have somebody who's just really busy and it's not that big a deal, they can really caloric restrict in that fashion for a season and kind of help get things going. But I don't recommend doing it like all the time.
Yeah. I work with a lady that it's the OMAD, like, where it's just one meal a day.
Yeah.
And that's all she does. She eats like lunch and that's it. But when it comes to intermittent fasting, there aren't health benefits to it for weight loss other than just the calorie restriction part, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because you're not going to go into autophagy after it takes a while to get into that autophagy kind of thing, like 36 hours or so. So if you're doing a feeding window throughout the day, then it's just making it easier to caloric restrict.
And autophagy and atrophy, not related?
No.
Okay. It sounds similar.
Yep.
Look at me trying to do some medical math in my head. Okay, well, I think that's it. That's all I've got for you today.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. It's fun.
Yeah. And don't forget to subscribe. And I do wish
Smash the subscribe, Kevin.
Yeah. And do review us. Let us know if this is good or bad or helpful or otherwise.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, see y'all.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. You can follow us on Apple and Spotify, and please review us to let us know what you think. Thanks.